Hey, I have no idea what the date is, but it's Friday and it's 7 o'clock. So we're going to be talking about food bowls today. Many people have a lot of misconceptions about food bowls. They feel that they have to put their hands in the food bowl, take the food bowl away, um, and it's creating so much resource guarding. So I want to give you a little example. So years ago, I was out with a friend of mine for lunch, and she was started to eat off my plate. So I didn't say anything the first time. Thought it was a little weird. Didn't even ask. Just started eating off my plate. And so I let it go. And then a few months later, we did it again. We went out to for a meal. And she, as soon as our food came, she started looking at my food and she started to reach out. And I let her do it one more time. The third time we went out, I saw her start to go like this. I covered my plate, I moved it away, and I moved my drink because the prior time she had also started drinking from my drink. Now, it's different when you're in a relationship and, you know, my husband and I used to eat off each other's plates all the time. And that's completely different. But look at this from your dog's point of view. I mean, I was starting to resource guard. And had we not ended the friendship, or right around that time, I probably would have had to say something. But dogs do say something, but they say it with their bodies. They might freeze, which you might not recognize. They might look up, have a little walleye, start to move forward towards the object, basically start to guard it. So, why do people tell other people to take food away from your dog? I honestly can't figure that out. What they supposedly think will happen is that, well, you must show your dominance over your dog. Well, that's not how you do it. And we don't need to be dominant over our dog. We need to nurture and be nice to them. We don't need to be mean to them. It'll show your dominance and who's boss. And it's like this stuff is so antiquated that I can't believe in 2020 we're still talking about it. It's like, honey, enough. You don't have to take anything away from your dogs. I expect them to let me eat in peace, and I train them to do so. And I also leave them to eat in peace. Okay. Now, have there been times where I've needed to get in my dog's mouth because there's something stuck? Absolutely. But I train it. Okay. So, for instance, years ago, my border collie Bo, he came in. I thought he was having a seizure because he starts flinging his head and his mouth is open and is closing and opening and he's flinging and flinging. And I'm like, oh my God, what? So I figured, I don't know what possessed me, but I put my fingers in his mouth. Well, it turns out he had a stick stuck. He had bitten a stick down, bit the ends off, but the main stick was still in his mouth, and it was stuck in his upper palate between his upper teeth. So I was like, oh my God. So I popped it out with my thumb and, oh, thank God. So the next time he did it, because, he's a boy, you have to do things at least twice. so, so he did it again, and then he came running in the house, and he did that weird shake that made me think he was having a seizure. So I said, honey, did you do it again? He's like, yeah, could you get it out for me? And he came up and he opened his mouth wide for me, and I was able to stick my finger in and get the stick out. And then he didn't do it again after that. He was much more careful. But that's the only reason why you would ever really need to put your fingers in their mouth, is if there's something stuck in there, a ball that's too small or a toy or something you think they're choking on. But you don't get that, and you don't get that trust by just taking things away from them, because that makes no sense. Because I mean, what if somebody was going to do that to you? They kept taking things away, taking things away, taking things away. What would you do when they started to approach you? You'd back up, you'd guard whatever it was they were trying to take away. And, why do we expect our dogs to do less than what we would do? So you can always teach your dog, when they're puppies or something, or if they steal something, teach them to give. Okay. In fact, we can do that as our next topic. We can teach the dogs how to give. My dog Shadow, in the very beginning, he used to like to steal underwear because I was too stupid to close the underwear drawer. And he would also steal razor blades because, he got reactions. I mean, I didn't yell at him or anything, but, I would trade, and sometimes he didn't want to trade. So actually what I did is I took the objects that he was typically stealing, and I played the 2 toy game, the 2 razor blade game, the 2 pair of underwear game, the 2 gloves game, and there were a lot of different ways that you can do that. I remember one time my mom had just gotten me these really cool gloves. He ate them. I didn't even get a chance to wear them, and he ate them. And so what I did is then I just put everything all over the floor, scattered everything, all the stuff he would steal, and I would just click and treat him for ignoring those things. Okay. So that's really what it's all about. Now, what I do, like sometimes if I have a dog on medication and maybe I drop a pill by accident, well, I don't have to take it out of their mouth because I say mine and they back off. Mine means leave it. That's the way, that's the word that I use, because I hate the words leave it. It's just a Pam thing. But, get them to back off, teach them to back away, teach them to go to your bed so you can pick up the offending object. I leave my dogs in peace when they're eating, and I expect them to leave each other in peace as well, and they do for the most part. And if they don't, then I close the door so that Dreamer won't try to get Brand's food, because he will acquiesce and he will give her the last of his breakfast or dinner, and I don't want it because I don't want her stealing his food. So I close the bedroom door. It's that easy. But just, think how you would feel if someone was stealing your stuff. You would start to guard it. So again, what makes you think that your dog is any different, that they won't start to guard? And I've been seeing it a lot lately. I've been seeing a lot of resource guarding cases. And when I delve into when did this start, what were you doing, 100%, 100%. We're all taking things away from their dog or ripping things out of their mouth. So my advice is stop. Stop doing it. Teach the dog to trade. Teach the dog to move away from the object. And with puppies, it's even older dogs. So for instance, let's say you have a bone, and you start, maybe you're just walking past, you're not even like walking towards a bone, or maybe it's an object you don't want the dog to have. Just big wad of food, throw food, but don't reach down. Don't reach down. Don't reach down. Just keep throwing food, throwing food, throwing food, throwing food, throwing food, throwing food. And then what you're going to do is then just throw food a little farther, a little farther, a little farther. And then when the dog has made up their mind to leave the object and go for the food, then you can pick up the object and do it that way. Okay? And I just noticed I'm not seeing any comments, so I don't know why. This is so weird. Let me see here. Okay. I don't know why. I'm just going to make a comment. So I don't know if anybody's commenting, but if I miss you now, it's okay. I'll catch you, once I shut this off, and then I go back and look to see if there's any comments. So it's really that simple. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Um, and I think that's about it. I've said what I wanted to say. Leave your dog's bowl alone, just like you want them to leave your bowl alone. Okay? And if you have any questions, just let me know. And because I do periodically check back to see if anybody has any questions. And so next, when I do this on Monday, I think what I will do, unless I change my mind, I think what I will do is um, talk about how to teach the dog to give. Okay, because people are not doing it right. And again, there's a lot of first-time dog owners out there rescuing a dog or getting a puppy, and probably getting really poor advice from either the rescue group or the breeder. So come to me. I'll give you all the good stuff. All right. And I'll see you on Monday. Take care.